Good afternoon. I am Tony Dattino. I am the founder of the USA Memory Championship. I'm president of Dattino Consulting. And it's been exciting. One of the things the team has been working on right now is the first virtual USA Memory Championship. And it is, I'm far exceeding my goals and what I thought we were going to be able to do. This has been exciting, it's fun, and next week we'll be doing a session. I'll be doing a session with Michael Dattino, who has put together a fabulous online course called Maximum Memory Mastery, and Karen Pinson, who is the COO, who runs the USA Memory Championship, and we'll be doing an update next week on where we are at. But on my call with her this morning, it's blowing us away in terms of the response that we've gotten from the folks that Lumosity has sent their notice out to. And as she has said, it's like ding, ding, ding all day long. New ones are just coming in. So it's exciting, and this is a thrill. This is what it's about. How do we do the things that help minimize the risk that we take in our lives, or the things that we do or should be doing in our lives that make a difference in our brain health? And I've talked to so many people and working with hospitals for a number of years. The biggest concern that people had with their health actually came from worrying about losing their brain and mental capacities and losing their memories. Because if you step back and think about it, it's our memories that define us as to who we are and how we go about our day-to-day life and what we are doing and what we have to remember to do, and so our memories are the central processing unit of our whole life system. And so here was a article that I was picking out on Thursday, and I started with what I call the new news that was reported in this study, but this is being put out by the Massachusetts General Hospital Mind, Mood, and Memory newsletter. And here they talk about 12 risk factors that we face and what you may be able to do to delay or prevent the onset of Alzheimer's. So this was, I think, really important when we talk about the early onset of mild cognitive impairment, and when people are thinking that they're losing their memories and they start to worry and get anxious, and they might get, am I going to have Alzheimer's, or what may I be doing that can help minimize that? That's what the Maximum Memory Mastery online course is really all about. And Michael Dattino has just done a bang-up job on that. It's really been helping a lot of people that have taken it, and it's all good work. It's all making a difference in people's lives. So let me get right to it now. It's a Lancelot Commission study that was done, and they listed off 12 risk factors. And the other day I talked about 3 new ones that they had identified, which I found surprising. Exposure to air pollution, head injuries. Not sure that we can do much about those if we have one, a step or fall and get banged in, though I do watch kids playing football and banging their heads against the soccer ball and wonder if anybody understands the damage that we may be self-imposing on ourselves, but head injuries. And the third one was excessive alcohol consumption. Now, those were the 3 I talked about Thursday, so if you want to know more about those, go back to Thursday. But education early in life, having less of it. What we are learning is in our early stages, we're growing in a massive network of neurons and synapses and neural pathways. And so the more education we have earlier in life, and basic school, you go to middle school, high school, maybe college, but the education that you're having, kids learning to read, possibly playing musical instruments, starts to create a vast amount of neural networks. And so that's a good basis for us. Doesn't mean we're lost if we didn't get that education, but it means that we just got to work a little bit harder in challenging our brain as we get a little bit older. But having that vast network, though, you've got to be careful, because so often we think that if we get through college, then that's it. Now we coast through the rest of life as it relates to our brain. Not the case. We need to constantly be challenging our minds, learning new things, problem solving, creating and generating new ideas and things of how we go about things. So education early in life sets the foundation, but it doesn't mean you're lost if you didn't have it. It means you just need to work. We can learn new things at any age. And so learning memory skills and how to improve your mental functions is certainly within our control and things we're able to do. Hypertension. So this whole notion of hypertension and our blood pressure and the tension that we have, we talk about stress in our bodies and what that does to us. Hearing has an impact. Hearing impairment has something. Now again, with hearing devices and hearing aids, science is bringing a lot of things to the table that years ago we would have just thought we were doomed and we were off to forget it. But science is helping us with it. I was reading an article on even the multisensory responses that people who may be blind have and what they're able to do and how science is doing that. Smoking is not a good thing. Now, why is smoking important? Now, I'm going to stretch the science on this because smoking, it starts to clog up your lungs, right? And what does smoking do to your lungs? It inhibits some of your breathing. And why is breathing important to your mental health? Because 30%, 20 to 30% of the oxygen we breathe in goes to our brain. So our brain consumes about a quarter of our oxygen levels, and therefore smoking clouds it up. And so what we don't want to be doing is messing up our lungs and putting in different poisons and toxins that we know are not good for us into our breathing structure, into our breathing apparatus. So, which is why exercising is such a good thing. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Obesity, being overweight, again, taxing a whole number of physiological systems. Depression, I've talked about that over and over. We go from stress, my body stress on something, creates what we call pattern interrupts. If stress doesn't go away, it's not that momently, immediate moment thing where we have to respond to it. If it's delayed or it gets prolonged, we're going to move into anxiety because we don't see an end in sight. And as we don't see an end in sight, it just keeps perpetuating itself. We now move into stages of depression, panic, phobia, and then eventually we might even get ourselves into suicide, which is not something I don't want to talk about. Physical inactivity. Reading an article this morning, balance. People, as we're getting older, even in age 40, they're saying people at age 40 have imbalanced structures that are similar to people who are 70 and 80 because we're too sedentary. We're sitting down far too much. Even they're finding in teenagers significant balancing problems because they're sitting and they're playing games on their computers. They're not building their muscles in their legs and their spines and their backs to endure walking. And now I say walking, it doesn't mean they can't walk. It means that their muscular systems are not continuing to build support strong enough that maintains a level of balance. And so studies are showing now more and more we're losing our ability to balance. So a simple test they gave, for example, was close your eyes and stand on one leg for 30 seconds and then switch over to your other leg. And if you can't do that, at least open your eyes and stand on one leg and then get close to a wall so you don't fall over while you're trying to practice your balancing. Diabetes, we've talked about in the past. And the big one that comes up over and over again, and in fact I thought I had an article here again, which I'll pick up, social isolation. Social isolation. So those are the things that are risk factors. So one that's really prevalent today, and again, I've been talking about this all my life with Tony, is social isolation, loneliness, all adding to anxieties and disorders. Our suicide levels are going up, our stress levels are going up. COVID has not been any help to all of this, so we have to be much more aware of the things that we're doing that are working against us. So let's talk about this for a couple minutes and then we'll move on to next week. But excessive alcohol, I think that's an obvious no-brainer. But what can you do? Do exercise for your brain. Now, what is an exercise for your brain? Learning something new, creating some new physical movements. So doing some physical exercises of some sort, some physical movements, which also work on your muscles, as well as thinking about what the routines are. Ballroom dancing is something that we can do. Learning something new. Go find something online or a TV show. People are loving some of the TV shows, National Geographic, the Discovery Channel, and different TV networks that are putting out things that people never studied before, and they're finding out things in history. Go take on the History Channel some things. So we have lots and lots of things that we can do. What do we do for stress, depression, anxiety? Give yourself, people come back to me and say, Tony, you want me to give myself an hour a day? I can't find the hour a day, right, with the family and the spouse and whatever. Give yourself a 30-minute break. You got just, boom, it's on your calendar, 30 minutes each day. Find a spot, go to a quiet zone. If you're in an area where you can go look at greenery, trees, there's another article I'll share about nature and the importance of nature in our lives and our brain health. Find plants, pictures. They even take pictures of nature and mountains and streams and greenery. I know we have a painting in our residence in New York that has a pathway going through a forest, and I could sit in a chair and just walk through that path 1,000 times and just bring myself down into a state of calmness and peace, tranquility. Smoking, I don't need to tell you anything to do about smoking. Your nutritional habits, we certainly have an ability to control over our nutritional habits and things of that sort. So these are just some of the things that you can begin to think about doing. And of course, enrolling in the Maximum Memory Mastery online course. We have a guarantee on that. If anybody's not happy with that course, we easily have refunded money. We're not one of those folks that make it difficult for you to get your money back. So that's a no-risk opportunity for you to learn some new things and really appreciate what you can do for your brain health. And then, of course, social interaction. How do we use technology, phone calls, talking with people, even if you have to go through a window or we socially distance ourselves? There's a whole lot of things that we can do. So this is my Saturday 3 p.m. broadcast. I'm a little bit early. We've got some errands that we're going to be running on this afternoon, so I wanted to make sure I got this done today and didn't want to leave it go from when we got back. So I'd be sure that we had this one in. So this is my Saturday broadcast, back in on Monday in the 7 p.m. area, and we'll get you an update next week on this year's virtual USA Memory Championship, which has just been beyond my expectations. It's fantastic. We'll talk to you about that next week. Have a good weekend. And I do enjoy doing these, so we'll see you.